Hello friends, what up? My name is Shobhit Sani and today I'm going to tell you about the big four in Java. And many of us think we know the difference between these topics, but we are not always clear about the real difference. So let's explore each one of them and see the difference. So the difference between the JVM, the JIT, the JRE and JDK. So first we come to the JVM, or the Java Virtual Machine. So what is this virtual machine in Java? Why we call it and how it works? So if I have some Java code here, it's like here I am having something called the event test.java. So it's a file here. I've made this file. I've typed it in the editor, and now I convert, and this is a Java compiler. So it converts that event test to something called a bytecode, and this bytecode is called a class file. So this bytecode is platform independent. Now this class file I can distribute it to anyone who is having a JVM. So JVM is something called, it's platform dependent. It depends on the operating system, it depends on the processor. So because operating system depends on the processor too, so JVM is platform dependent. It comes a different version for a different operating system. So this class file, it means if for Linux system it will go to means I will have a different JVM for the Linux, then I will have a different JVM for the Windows, I will have a different JVM for other like Unix or something. So this class file will be converted by the JVM to machine code depending on the operating system, and that will this machine code will be used by the processor and your program will run. So this is what we call the Java virtual machine, the first part of it. Now we just come to the second part of it. It's called the Java JIT, just-in-time compiler. So what is this JIT? It's a part of Java virtual machine. So like we analyzed in the previous slide, like we have Java files, we convert it to Java source code, then the Java compiler converts to Java bytecode, the class files, and that is that goes to the JVM. Now the JVM has two parts. It has the Java interpreter and the just-in-time compiler. So what is this just-in-time compiler? So if you see, like if we have a big project in Java, it contains a lot of thousands of files, thousands of class files, thousands of other files, and if it will be a really useless thing if we convert the whole class files into the native code at once, because it will take a lot of RAM, it will take a lot of resources. So what we do, the Java interpreter, like when we are running a program, when we are typing something in the program, that time it converts the class file into native code and that runs on the hardware. So this can be a really slow process in sometimes. So we have the Java just-in-time compiler. What does this do? It analyzes the code, like the class files. It analyzes the whole code and it analyzes some part of the code that is being repeated over and over again. So there are some class files that are needed over and over again. So what does GIT does is, like, it converts those specific class files into native machine code. So when I need them, so if my program needs them and user clicks something or the program is processing something, so instead of in the previous process, instead of converting the class file into native code, the native code is available directly to the Java interpreter and it will use it and it will run it. So this will make the program run a little faster than it should have run. So that is what we use the JIT, and you can configure the JIT and you can add your own class files. There's a separate, so you can do that. It's like you have to study the JVM for that, JVM specification for that, for how to do it. So you can do that and you can make your program run a little faster, a lot faster, because of this feature called just-in-time compiler. But this this uses the extra RAM or extra resources, so you have to be careful using just-in-time compiler when you are just using your programs. So after that comes the JRE, or the Java Runtime Environment. Now what is the JRE? So JRE contains the Java Virtual Machine, the JIT, and it also contains a set of libraries. So there are a lot of libraries in Java, there are a lot of classes in Java. So those classes are required by the JVM to convert the class file into the machine code, and there's a lot of code available that is free to use, that is for the software usability feature in the Java. So there are many native classes. We have the math class, we have the object classes, like we extract, we have the print classes or something. So those are available here in the JRE, and that is required by the JVM to convert a code into machine code. So that is what we call the JRE. So this is what we have this thing. So this is a different thing. This is the JRE, the whole thing. So now we come to the big daddy of all of this. This is called the Java development kit. So now you can see the JRE is here. We have the Java virtual machine. This is this part of Java, the Java virtual machine. Then we have a lot of libraries. We have the collection libraries, we have the concurrency utility library, we have the JAR library, and there are a lot of like logging features, management features. Then we have beans, we have Java effects, we have all those. These are the libraries, the different toolkits and libraries available at JRE. So this is required by only to convert a dot class file into machine code. The JRE just it requires a dot class file, and after that the JRE comes in. Now the JDK has a bigger role. It is used to make the code. It contains of the Java language, Java, these commands like Java sees a compilation command and all those things. So these things are required to make the Java code. So when I have to make the .java file, I require these files, and when that's converted to .class file, I required these files, the JRE. The JD contains both things. It contains the means it contains like it is for the developer basically, so he can make his code, then he can run his code on the same system, test it, and then can distribute to the user. But the user, like if I am using a Java program, I just require the JRE to do that. I don't need to know what code he is giving to me. So I just need these things to just run the code and just enjoy the application. That is JRE, just that is JTK. So friends, I think I've made clear some concepts about basic Java. So have a nice day and thanks for watching.